Hello and welcome to another video. If you're new, my name's Emma. I'm an illustrator based in Sheffield and these are my daily-ish vlogs. And as you've just seen there, I have replaced one of the pictures in my bedroom with a lovely lino cut by James Green of a magpie. And anyone who's watched my previous videos, like a couple of videos back, will know that just as we were about to set off for a trip for a weekend away, we heard some flapping in our chimney and there was a bird trapped in there and it ended up being a magpie. We rescued it. If you want to see that video, I'll try and link it here. If you don't see a video pop up here, it'll be in the video description. Go and check that out if you want a lovely feel-good video. So that's been put in there in honour of the magpie. And then I thought, why not do a load of drawings of magpies? I love magpies, by the way. They are my favourite bird by far. I really love them. We get loads of magpies around here, even in our chimneys. So that's what I'm going to do today. Get some materials out. I'm not aiming to do a finished piece. You know me, I do love my scribbly, messy sketchbook experiments and playful art. So that's what I'm going to do today. Get a load of materials out and see where the day takes us. So I have chosen a bunch of papers. I've got my big messy sketchbook, which is the big A3 Jackson Studio sketchbook. I've talked previously, by the way, this is just for people who've seen my videos before. I've talked previously about Jackson's affiliate link that I have. They're in the middle of changing over their affiliates now, and I'm not sure I'm going to re-sign up with them. So I've changed all of my links in my video descriptions. They've basically got someone to manage their affiliates, and until I kind of look into who they are and what they're going to do with my data, I'm not signing up with the affiliates anymore. For now, anyway, for now. But I still shop with Jackson's because I said I used to anyway. That's why I signed up with the affiliates, because I was shopping with them anyway. So if you are looking for a sketchbook, Jackson's Studio sketchbooks are the cheapest I've been able to find. The paper in them is nothing special. It's not watercolour paper. It's like a thick kind of cartridge paper. There's a tiny bit of grain on the paper, so it does pick up pastels and pencils and stuff. All right. It's not watercolour paper, but it does handle like liquid and water very well. This was ink drawings that I was doing the other day and they didn't really seep through that much. So it's not the thinnest paper that you can get. So what I like about them is they're cheap. I don't feel precious when I'm working in them because they're not expensive papers. But saying that, I have got some watercolour papers here because I have a tendency, as soon as I get a watercolour sketchbook or watercolour papers, to want to hold on to it because it costs more money. But did you know that watercolour paper can go off? I didn't know anything about this. Some people mentioned it. Sorry, I can't remember your names. I'm really sorry. But some people mentioned it in the comments before. So I was talking about using the watercolour sketchbooks that I've had like hanging around for years and years and years, decades, to mess around with colour in my sketchbook to kind of get over the fear of making a mess in them. And someone mentioned, oh, have you had a problem with the sizing? And I thought they just meant like the paper had shrunk or something. But apparently it's a treatment that they put on the watercolour paper to make it like to make the paints flow and stuff. And the longer you leave it, the more degraded or whatever. I don't know too much about it, but you'll have to look into it yourself. But this, whatever the sizing, can spoil, if that's the right term. If you know more about this, please pop it in the comments so we can all read it. I'll try and pin your comment if I can. But basically, use your watercolour paper. I've had this block of watercolour paper for 10 years, probably just about 10 years. These pads have had a good 4 or 5 years, and I'm not using them. Today's the day. Let's do it. So I've got all of my materials that I want to play with. I don't know if I'll play with all of them, but it's nice to have choice. And for my reference pictures, because it's not always good just to work from your memory, because your memory might be slightly flawed. But also it's not entirely good to work just from photographs, because then your imagination can't fill in any gaps. So one way around this, and I've mentioned it in previous videos if you've seen that one, is to work from internet image searches, but only their thumbnails. So I don't make the images big, because that way you see a load of detail. I keep the images small, so if you don't know what I mean when I say thumbnails, I mean the little tiny images, size of a thumbnail, oh, bigger than a thumbnail actually, but the small images when you get lots on the page. And I work from those, so I can see the vague shapes, the kind of vague colours and movements, but I'm not bogged down in the detail, because if I can see every little feather and every little glint of light on every part of that bird, I'm going to get bogged down, I'm going to get overwhelmed, and I'm also probably going to give up. So I want to keep my my handwriting version of my drawings, so my style, I want to keep that in my drawings. So that's why I'm not going to copy a picture faithfully. I know I can do that. I've done that in the past. I can draw pretty realistically when I'm working from a photograph, but I enjoy the feeling of making something my own. So that's what I'm going to do. Join me. spending a few hours on that work. I'm just letting it dry at the moment, and I will show you in a second. Lunch is calling. I'm all flushed. If you've watched me before, you'll know that I think I just concentrate so hard when I'm doing like drawings and stuff that I don't know, I just always get a really red face. And there's a funny story, actually, not that funny, but it's a story from when I was a kid, and when I was in the infant school, so like, was that 4, 5, 6 maybe? It was home time, we'd been painting, Mum was waiting for me outside the cloakroom, and everyone else came out, but I didn't. And when Mum eventually came in, I was there standing at an easel we'd been painting with my little red apron on, painting an owl, apparently with my tongue sticking out. So engrossed in the painting that I didn't even know it was home time. And the teachers apparently didn't want to disturb me, which is nice. So yeah, I've always been a bit in depth when it comes to kind of splodging paints around. But now is lunchtime. This is just a reminder to make sure your studio door is shut if you have pets and you've been painting, because your paint water may have harmful chemicals in it, and you do not want your lovely animal, your lovely pal, your lovely furry life buddy to be drinking that and potentially getting ill. So I'm back after lunch and I'm going to show you what I did with the magpies. So first of all, let's look at these sketchbooks. Sketchbook birds. I kind of got really into stick and ink, and they're just normal regular sticks, so the kind that you'd find on a walk in the woods, dipped in ink. And I really like, I said this in a recent video, but I really like how random the marks are, and it just introduces a bit of chaos, stops you being so fussy with the outcomes, and just creates a little something. I'm not sure what the magic involved is, but I really love it. This one I think is my favourite, I think. Or maybe this one. I really like working big as well. I mean, in a minute you'll see that I've worked on a smaller watercolour pad, which is all right, but I'm gonna get some big sheets and do some big work next, I think, in the upcoming times. But yeah, this one's a really nice one as well. I could always scan this in or take a photograph and edit it and edit that middle line out. It's a shame that it's stuck in a sketchbook and I can't put it on the wall. But then I did get my watercolour sketch pad out. Not a sketch pad, it's a watercolour pad with watercolour paper. And I did these guys. Okay, so I have just signed all of the magpies that I did on separate sheets on watercolour. I didn't set out today to do any finished pieces or anything that was not sketchbook. I was just using my watercolour pad in lieu of a sketchbook because I don't want it to go bad or whatever. You know, like I said at the beginning, I don't want the sizing to go off on it. So that's the reason I was using that. But I think because I wasn't putting pressure on myself to do finished pieces, I think I actually like the pieces that I made on these separate sheets more. So I thought it might be nice to do a little flash sale of these Magpie originals over on my small business website, which is embersandink.co.uk. Not only because I like these pieces and I think that you will like them too, but also, as you've seen, these pieces were they were initiated by Magpie Rescue, and in that Magpie Rescue I smashed a hole in my wall, which will need replacing. So I was thinking any proceeds from these will obviously help me to be able to replaster that wall. I'm not sad that I did it. I would do it again. I would make all the mess in the world to save that life, but something will need to be done with that, and funds are tight at the moment. So if you would like your own Magpie original from today's video, I will put them on my website. They might even be available now. If they are available now, then I'm sure Editing Emma in the future will let you know on the screen somewhere now. But if you want to make sure you don't miss out on updates and stuff like this, there are a couple of places that you can follow me. So you can sign up to my newsletter, which is a place I'm going to start putting a lot more effort into making a nice fun place for you. So I'll pop the links to that in the video description. You can also come and follow me for free over on Patreon, and you'll get a notification whenever I put any free content up there if you follow me for free there, and that's patreon.com/Emma Woodthorpe. And when things like this go up, I will be informing my patrons and my newsletter people. So that could be you if you get signed up to that. So this is where I'm going to leave this video. And remember, if you do know anything else about the watercolour paper going off, so like the sizing issue, so old watercolour paper not being as good, let us know in the comments, because I'm sure a lot of the community would like to know, as well as I would like to know too. But yeah, this is where I'm going to leave this video, and I will hopefully catch you in the next one. So until then, bye.